I guess we'd say it's heavy but atmospheric as well. Very groove-driven music, but with lots of different sort of colours and sounds, and very epic
soundscape type stuff. Like, there's a lot of it moves around a lot, like time signatures and things like that. But there's always a pulse. So whether you're a metalhead and you completely get it, or whether you're the girlfriend of some metalhead at the back of the room going, like, everyone can still do that to the music, and I guess that's what gets people involved. There's always a pulse.
Well, I don't think there wasn't any sort of conscious choice. I mean, the band was started by Ackle, the other guitarist, as a solo project, and originally he started off just essentially trying to replicate sounds that Meshuggah made, but then obviously evolved into its own thing, and he built up this project over about 4 or 5 years, and then when we all came together, the basic sound of the band had already been established, and we've gone from there basically. But yeah, so there wasn't a conscious decision on his part, it was just what he liked doing.
I think individually there's loads of influences. I mean, I was brought up on like Steely Dan and stuff like that. Like, I haven't got a particularly metal background, whereas I guess, I mean, you listen to quite a lot of metal. No, okay, you'll let you give your influences. But as a band, I mean, as a whole, we can agree on stuff like Jeff Buckley, Led Zepp, The Doors, all that type of the old stuff. Modern day stuff, I mean, just stuff by our peers, I'll say our peers, but Meshuggah, massive influence, obviously. Bands like Textures, fantastic. I mean, I watch bands like Periphery, and I watch Matt play drums, and he's ridiculous. So I take inspiration from a lot of places, because that's the only thing that can make you progress as a musician. So.
Yeah, totally. I mean, as Jay was mockingly said, as a heavy metal kid, I love metal. Like, that's how I learned to play guitar. That's one of the most fun things about playing guitar, being able to make a lot of noise, for me. So yeah, obviously a lot of my early influences are rooted in that. But now I'm a bit older, and like a huge, diverse amount of things. So I wouldn't even know where to begin. Loads of sort of ambient electronica, lots of sort of pounding, sort of aggressive electronic music again. Classic 70s prog, Pink Floyd, 80s pop. Love Duran Duran. Love Duran Duran. I know, tons of stuff.
What do we do? Ackle is the main writer. He basically writes all of the music in his bedroom, studio, sends it to us over the internet, so we all then learn it, just at home in our little studios or whatever. Then we get together as a band about 5 years later when we know the song and jam it out, and it sort of evolves from there, because some things that have been written don't necessarily work live. It sounds great on record. So we've just re-recorded Eden, which is the last track on the album. The whole middle section, whenever we tried to play it, just didn't seem to work. So Ackle rewrote it, and it's sort of got this really heavy sort of groove train riff to it, and it just moves so much better. And I don't know, that's it. All of the music just tends to evolve from just MP3s. We just fire ideas around to each other and decide what works from there, really.
Yeah, I suppose the main band sort of development process is sort of in arrangements and in sort of individual parts that may be slightly adapted by the individual players. So that's when. But then after that's when traditionally in our way of doing things, the vocalists would then put their stuff down on top. But that may change a bit more now, because with album 2 being written next year, Elliot's fully involved. So hopefully, we'll just have to see how it happens. We don't know yet.
Repetition, to learn the stuff. I mean, we've been playing some of the songs for a very long time. When I was learning it, we all had day jobs, so we'd be sat at work doing boring stuff, and I'd have my headphones on at work, in the car, at home, and just listening to it like that until every little bit of the song is stuck in your head. And then when you come to take it live, you don't have to think about where I'm putting my legs and where I'm putting my hands. It's just, you can focus on performing instead of focusing on what you're actually playing, and that's how you learn it. That's how I learn it anyway.
You program yourself.
Yeah, but the sort of trade-off for that is that I've forgotten how to do normal things, like my girlfriend's birthday and my mum's name. No, my mum's name. I remember your name, mum. But things like that, mum. Yeah, I forget lots of lots of things that I should remember. Like, I'll tell the same story like 4 times. My girlfriend will be like, "No, you've told me that 4 times already." So I think I've traded that off, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jay will on tour wake up in New York and go, "Oh, so we're playing Sydney, Australia tomorrow, aren't we?"
No.
I think if one of us screws up, the rest of us generally don't. So that one the person who screws up just gets back into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think we've not had any major fails.
Nothing too bad. We play to a computer keeps us in time. So I play to a click track, which is controlled by the computer, and. I guess if that goes wrong, which sometimes it does, I just have to keep going, or it goes terribly wrong and the sound stops coming out of the PA. And we've had a couple of those where the computer's just had a fit on stage. But
we had that one that song where you came in 8 beats early, and which basically confused
everything. There's been a couple
everything.
of times where we failed, but you tend to recover. Like, you just look at each other and go, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah, but that particular one when you came in early, so people were going, "Oh wow, I like the different arrangement." We're like,
exactly.
Yeah.
People just think because the songs are that crazy sometimes. People just think it's a different arrangement, so we kind of blag it. There's a lot of ideas that are already recorded. Everything on the first album, nearly everything, is very old. It's from when I joined the band in 2005. Some of the riffs are that old, so all of the new stuff is like a couple of years old maximum. So it's kind of exciting to work on that material. But I guess because we've got Elliot, the new singer, involved as well, it's going to be good to give him a load of completely fresh material and just see where it goes, because his style of singing, it doesn't really involve as much, I'm going to say aggression, that's probably the right word. He's got more of a sort of soulful, like a high-pitched voice, and we want to see what he can do with that. So that's kind of where we're going to try and...
I think the music as a whole has moved slightly sort of bigger, more sort of epic, maybe a little bit less crazy, less of the techie stuff, more of the epic stuff, I think. But like not consciously, I think it's just a natural progression on the way things were going.